how's it going? Welcome back to another Walking Dead video. So in this one here, I want to do a Q&A video on episode 5 and I guess episode 6 as well. So first of all, thank you so much for all of your questions. Today is my birthday actually, so I do actually want to try and do like a live stream later and talk about The Walking Dead with you guys and everything. So we'll have to wait and see if I can actually do that. If not, I will do it for sure this weekend. I just gotta try and balance it with a lot of other stuff that I have going on and everything. Like I know the Switch 2 is coming out tonight. I don't know if I'm gonna go to like the launch event happening and all that. I think that could be kind of fun, but we'll have to wait and see. I will do one though in the next couple of days for sure. So yeah, I just wanted to say that, but let's get into the very first question here. Q&A, what did you think of the Croat's method of killing Christos' people? Do you think that the Croat let the kids and women live in Christos' group? I mean, he said so I'm assuming, yeah, he would do that. It could be a reveal later that maybe he didn't. Like, that is possible, but I think that he probably did because I think that it just makes a lot of sense. Like, it was just something that he kind of mentioned there, and like, maybe you would remember that, I don't know, but I think it makes sense like he would have. I think his method in terms of, you know, getting rid of everyone there, like, that was absolutely, honestly, shocking. And I think for writing the story, it was amazing because I was not expecting that. And I saw a lot of like real reactions to that. Like a lot of people very upset about what happened there and honestly just like surprised that that even happened. And I think that that's incredible. If you can write a story and have a moment like that happen, then you know that you did good because I wasn't expecting that to happen at all. Like I knew the Croat was on his way there, but I just didn't know if it was going to lead to all the deaths and everything, right? So that was really, really surprising. I wasn't expecting that to happen. So I think for a moment like that to happen, it was absolutely shocking. Like I was like, wait, what is going on here? And yeah, a really great scene. And I think Christos is a really amazing character. And just like that, a moment like that made that character absolutely incredible. And it's a scene that people will talk about in the future, you know? So it's definitely, I think, really well written and honestly really incredible. Q&A, has anyone from the Walking Dead cast ever reached out to you? Yeah, a few of the cast members have, yes. It was honestly really great and kind of shocking that that even happened. And in terms of before that as well, you know, I had some opportunities to actually do interviews with some of the cast members, which I didn't do for really, honestly, like I don't understand why I just said no. Trust me, if I get to do interviews like that again, I won't be saying no, but yeah. Q&A, since Dama is dead, do you think we could possibly see the Croat's backstory after he met Dama? I think that we could maybe see something like that if he's in season 3. I think because we only have 3 episodes left, I don't think we're going to see too much of that because I just think that it's kind of a lot to get into. Like, the next episode, I don't see it happening. Episode 7 is going to be really like a Negan and Lucille episode. The finale, like maybe, you know, I think there's a chance that we could see something there if that's his death episode. But I don't know. Like, I think because there's only 3 more episodes left, if the character survives to season 3, then I could see something like that happening. Because, I mean, you're right. Like, he does have a really interesting backstory and there's a lot of stuff there. Like, the thing is, we did learn a lot about the character in season 1, and in season 2 so far, you know, we learned his real name actually in episode 5, and there's stuff that they're actually getting into here. And I do like the fact that they're making the Croat the real villain out of, like, you know, Dama and the Croat. I think Bruegel is going to be a future villain, and they're sort of building him up right now, and he's kind of a villain right now, but they're building him up, right? I think the Croat, though, like, he was the villain in season 1 throughout all of season 1, and then at the very end, they introduced Dama, and it was just kind of like, wait, what's going on here, right? And then in season 2, they sort of build up the Croat using the Dama story. And I think that's really smart because now you're giving more depth to the Croat, a character that already had so much depth in season 1. So I think it's honestly really smart because you're building up all the characters. So yeah. Q&A, what do you think of this? So do you think the Dama has a chance to come back at some point in the future, as she was only surrounded by fire, although Madison from Fear the Walking Dead came back after being surrounded by fire and was having trouble breathing? So do you think something similar will happen to Dama? I honestly think that she's just gone. Like, after the episode, I thought, like, okay, she has to be alive still. There's no way that, you know, she just died like that. But after you watch the episode 6 trailer, you're like, well, she has to be gone now, right? And I think it really depends. I think we'll have to wait and see. We'll watch episode 6 and I think we'll know right away whether or not Dama's actually gone. Like, we'll be able to tell based off of the scene and if it made a lot of sense. I know that there's a lot of, like, you know, everyone's questioning it right now. Like, did she actually die? And it would be interesting if this is like set up for the future where you could bring the character back in like a season 4 or something, right? But I just don't see it playing out like that because I think the show is only going to be 4 seasons. And so, it's not really a lot to sort of do there. And with Madison, I think the writers actually wanted to kill her off. And it was more everyone else afterwards being like, she should still be on the show. Why would you kill off Madison and Nick in the same season? The actor who played Nick wanted to leave the shows. And so you should have just wrote Nick off and not Madison as well, right? So I think it was just a different situation there. I think with Dama, she is probably gone now. And yeah. Q&A, what are your thoughts on the season so far, and what do you think will happen for the rest of the season? I think that this season so far has honestly been great, and it's one of those things that I always sort of say with The Walking Dead, that you can't really like review the season based off of the first 3 or 4 episodes or like what have you. Like, it's one of those things where when I watch the story, I know that some episodes are going to be slower, and I just sort of review every single episode based off of that. Like, I just accept it as it's a part of the story, and we'll see what happens by the end of the season, because you can't really review an episode and be like, oh, that was so boring, nothing happened, because like, you never know, that might build up something in the future. And I think this season has been built up really well because now there's a lot of stuff happening in every episode. And you had those slower episodes there to do a lot of character development and whatnot. Otherwise, there would be a lot of complaints about like, oh, this is happening too fast and the story is rushed and whatnot. And that's what we got with The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon and The Walking Dead The Ones Who Live. So that's why for me personally, it was like, I've really enjoyed this season a lot. And I think the last 2 episodes really show why this season is honestly great. And I think that episode 6 looks to be even like the best episode, I would say, of the season because of the bear scene, right? So we'll have to see. Obviously, we have to actually watch the episode, but I've been so excited for that scene for a while. And the fact that that's going to be episode 6, like, I'm so excited for that. Q&A, do you think Bruegel was the one who cut the power off, planted the knife there to make it look like Christos' group did it, knowing they lost everything to Bruegel, making them an easy target? That's a really interesting idea. I think that if something like that did happen, then I guess there would be a reveal of that in the future. But the way the scene played out between the Croat and Christos really made it seem like Christos knew. And so I think it was him. And I just think it adds to the, tragedy of the scene where it's like, he's a really good person. Maybe he's done some horrible things like, everyone has in The Walking Dead. But it's one of those things where you go into that place there, like Negan goes there and you look at Christos and like everything he's done, you're just like, oh, he's a bad guy, he's one of the villains or whatever. And then you sort of learn what he's doing and you realize, oh, actually, this guy's awesome. And Negan just knew that right away and was like, oh, and then all of a sudden the Croat shows up and then that reveal of like, oh, he did that to cut the power and then he had to get his revenge. And it just adds to everything and makes everything really tragic. So it's one of those things where I actually like what happened there. And it just, if only Christos never did that, I think that, yeah, I mean, it's one of those things too where, I mean, the Croat shouldn't be doing that either, right? But it's The Walking Dead, so. Q&A, what did Dama mean when she was calling the Croat to help her? She was saying something like melee or something like that. That was actually the reveal of the Croat's real name. So it's pronounced melee, I believe, but the spelling is M-I-L-E. So like mile, but it's pronounced melee. So that was actually a big reveal because Dama actually knew his real name. Like the Croat opened up to her that much and told her his real name. And so like Negan, like he doesn't even know that, right? Like a lot of people don't know his real name. So that was kind of a crazy reveal right there. And yeah, like that's what she was saying there in that scene. Q&A, how was The Last of Us Season 2 compared to the Part 2 game that it was adapting? In my opinion, the game was so much better because we got to see a lot more infected, and in the show, we went 2 episodes without seeing a single infected. Also, Ellie was getting on my nerves a lot this season. I definitely prefer game Ellie, personally. I love show Joel, though. I mean, I have to watch the last couple of episodes. I've been trying to watch the last couple of episodes. I've just been in the process of moving right now, so it's just been a lot to actually sit down and watch, like, TV or anything. Like, I'm literally trying so hard to watch anything right now, and I really think that The Last of Us Season 2, in terms of some of the characters, it's better than the game. And it's hard to say, overall what I would prefer because I have to finish the season. But like, I like the show Abby over the video game Abby. And I do prefer the Ellie in the game for sure. It's more just the way that Ellie acts, I think, in the show. Like, she's a lot more angry and whatnot. And I think that in the game, she is like that, but it's not as much. It's definitely not as much. And in terms of like Joel, I mean, yeah, obviously Joel is incredible. I still think that I prefer the show over the game, but it's hard to say because, again, I didn't watch a lot of the later parts of season 2. So in terms of the infected and a lot of that, yeah, I could see how if you're missing a lot of that, then maybe it would feel like, yeah, you probably prefer the games. But anyways, I'm gonna leave it here. Definitely post all your thoughts down below. Hope you all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.